The interesting thing about Jesse Lingard's recollection of arguably his most important career goal is that he doesn't talk about great excitement or joy. He talks instead of relief, of a weight being lifted. When we look at some young Premier League footballers, we see many things. Many we like and some we don't. But what we never see is inside their minds. We never feel what they feel as they tread that precarious line between making it and not. So when Lingard scored the winning goal for Manchester United in their FA Cup final win over Crystal Palace 2 seasons ago, what we were witnessing was an important staging post on a long journey that had started for him at the age of just 7. For years he wondered if he would make it. He was so small he would often be played down the age groups at United's academy. As he finally edged nearer to the first team squad, he would often be so nervous before games that he would shake. He worried that he was not good enough, not big enough. This is why when he instinctively put his right foot through a dropping ball and lashed it into the net at Wembley in extra time against Palace, his dash towards the corner flag, shirt off, tongue out, was more significant than we realized. It was a huge sigh of relief for me, Lingard told Sportsmail this week. There was a weight lifted off my shoulders with that goal. It really helped my confidence. Everyone is different, aren't they? I am bubbly and I try to take that onto the pitch and enjoy the moments when it goes well. You have to, but it's a long, hard road coming through an academy system, especially at a club like United. Supporters don't always see that. You see the players here on the wall who came before me. It's a lot to live up to. But I feel settled now. I am really happy. Lingard, 25, is sitting in the Academy Lounge at United's training ground. It used to be the room where Sir Alex Ferguson held his press conferences but has been redecorated as a place for parents waiting to watch their kids play. On the wall are shirts carrying names of famous graduates. All carried the responsibility of playing for the club with distinction. At the end of the line are the names of 2 who are trying to do that now, Paul Pogba and Lingard. On Saturday at Wembley, United will face Tottenham in an FA Cup semi-final. The famous old trophy could be one that adds some gloss to what has been another mixed season. Would an FA Cup triumph mean that this campaign under Jose Mourinho has been successful? I don't think it will be totally successful, but we need to win a trophy to make the season good, Lingard answered honestly. Winning the Premier League is always the priority, and if not we have to keep second position. If we do that and win the cup, I think that's a good season. Second really matters to us. Even if first is the target, we have to be up there. You learn that very early at this club. 2 things strike you about Lingard. He is tiny. His legs are sparrow thin. Also, he talks almost in a whisper. That betrays not shyness but humility. In many ways, he is a modern footballer. He has a huge smile, he dances when he scores, he posts videos on social media. He has a personality that extends beyond the boundaries of the field. Lingard is a footballer grateful for what he has earned. He was born in Warrington but his parents were not together long. He remains close to both but was given much of his youthful guidance by his grandfather Ken. Ken was a weightlifter and at 79 he is still at it in a shed of the bungalow he has always lived in with his wife Pam. Lingard still visits them most days. Having spotted his grandson's talent early, Ken was keen to keep him away from the temptations of rugby league. We played rugby at school and I was decent, a winger, Lingard explained. But even at primary school, Granddad would drive past the playground and tell me to stop. He thought I would get hurt. Instead, Ken had young Jesse out on the local AstroTurf every night, honing his football skills. By the time he was 7, Ken was driving Lingard up and down the M62 as he played games for United and Liverpool. Lingard recalled, "One day I was at Liverpool and someone didn't pass the ball to me and I thought, I can't be doing this. I walked out and said to my granddad, let's stay at United instead. I swear that was the reason. I felt more comfortable at United. I knew I had to make a choice. Granddad looked after me. He still comes now and then to support me and he still texts me before games. He is, do this, do that. I go and see him and Nana and he asks, what is the mood like? It's like I am a young boy again, still getting advice. I like that. It's good. Family is so important. You only get one and you have to make the most of them. They have always trusted me and trusted the United process. At times a lot of trust was required, too. Ken was emotional, once being banned from Lingard's matches for 2 months for a spot of over-exuberance. We lost a game at Stoke and he started telling all the kids they had been terrible, laughed Lingard. But we were only 9. You just can't do that. They told him to stay away for a while. At Old Trafford, more rationality was required. Lingard moved into club digs at 12. Prompting his mum Kirsty to telephone tearfully most days. I was okay, he shrugged. It had to be done. Off the field he was fine. His mum insisted on attention to his schoolwork and he left with 13 GCSEs. But on the field, it was harder. Lingard was simply too small, in danger of being kicked off the pitch. Ultimately, Reassurance came wrapped in a familiar accent. On Saturdays after first-team training Sir Alex Ferguson would watch us, Lingard recalled. He always said he understood I was a late developer. His staff had done all the tests and he sat down with my dad and granddad and made sure they understood we were going in the right direction. Sir Alex said it was about patience. It was a huge sigh of relief to know that Sir Alex was putting faith in their son to play for Manchester United one day. I put my trust in him and it paid off. I can only thank him. That story provides an inkling into how Ferguson worked at United and hints at one way the club misses him. Ferguson knew Lingard would not develop until he was 22. He knew he would never be a player for him, but he was happy to lay the groundwork for someone else. It was Louis van Gaal who felt the benefit of Ferguson's obsessive attention to detail, and now, even more so, it is Mourinho. The current United manager has been good for Lingard. It is under the Portuguese that the young forward has really blossomed, relishing the opportunity to play regularly for the first time. Typical of the way Lingard is playing was the goal he laid on for Chris Smalling at Bournemouth on Wednesday night. You want some cutlery too? Lingard teased his teammate later that night on Instagram. Assists are important to Lingard. They are just not as fun as scoring goals. He has scored 13 for United this season, and if he does not start on Saturday then it will be a surprise. Lingard admits that he loves the thrill of the really big games now. He also scored at Wembley in last season's League Cup final win over Southampton. Just as importantly, he understands what he represents to United fans, a local lad who is playing for his local team. Warrington may be in Cheshire, but Lingard's accent is full-on Mancunian. A recent Instagram video of him playing football with young kids who ambushed his car as he dropped a friend off at a house is telling. Those kids may only ever see me once, he explained. So for them to have a mess around with me is probably great, and for me it's great. They may look up to me, so I have to give something back, don't I? When I was young I looked up to players when I saw them in the canteen. So I know how it feels. My old coach René Meulenstein keeps in touch. In the canteen he used to point and say, "Soon you will be over that hill and training with us." He gave me so much confidence and positivity. But once I was like those kids who came running to my car. Why would I forget that? The first real contact Lingard had with the very heart of United was when he was asked to join in a skills video with first-teamers such as Cristiano Ronaldo and Roy Keane. He was 11 at the time. It was on that pitch over there, he said, pointing through the window. Ronaldo remains a standard-bearer for those who have followed. He is a role model for us all, said Lingard. When he first came he was so thin. But he has worked hard to get his body to where it needs to be. He was consistent when he was here and he has continued that. He is what we all should try to be. Lingard understands what it should mean to be a United Academy graduate at the club. Of the team who won the 2011 FA Youth Cup, only he and Pogba remain. The names around this room are almost all English, he said. Foreign players will always play for your team and that's good, but for an English player coming through it will be tough. The foreign players will be bought and they will play, so if you are young and English you have to work your socks off. For Lingard, success and progress is about attitude as much as football, and it is clear that he agrees with Mourinho's assessment following last Sunday's home defeat by West Brom that the team's mental approach was wrong. United is the biggest club in the world and you have to win every game, he said. Sometimes it doesn't happen and you have to deal with those consequences. We are humans and will make mistakes. But there is a lot of expectation and there is no point hiding from it. You just have to live up to it. After defeat you are depressed and down, but as long as you work hard for the shirt and give everything, nobody can say anything. If something doesn't come off you must try again. You must never be scared of getting on the ball and making things happen. Make a mistake, carry on. It's normal, it's football, just show the passion for the shirt. Maybe it was the mentality. We needed to show more fight than West Brom but we didn't. Maybe it is a mindset thing. I don't know what was in other players' heads, but as a team we need to have the same plan, the same ambition every game. Everyone here should get that really. At Wembley, Lingard believes there will be improvement. United have beaten big teams this season and their young forward hopes that he will be given the chance to exploit the National Stadium's open spaces. I know it's only the same size as other pitches but it does feel bigger, it's true, he smiled. His granddad will not be there. He will be at home looking after his terrier, Sprinkles. His nan was in the stadium for the Palace game 2 years ago, but her impressions were limited to her grandson's aesthetics. It was the first time she had ever watched me and she doesn't really know what is going on with football, he said, dissolving into giggles. When I scored and took my top off she apparently just said, "Ooh, look at his big muscles." I loved that.